Hello everyone and welcome to class. I am so excited you clicked on the link. Now we get to learn how to make a wedding dress from start to finish. I mean all the way from the bridal consultation down to when we deliver the dress to the bride. Now here are some of the things we'll be learning in this class. This particular video we'll be talking about the silhouette. We'll be talking about introduction to wedding dresses generally. Talk about the silhouette of the dress. We talk about some of the things that have been said during bridal consultation. So now a lot of people will say, oh, why do I need bridal consultation or this and that? I am going to break it down for you in this video and tell you the things you would talk about during bridal consultations. Why, if you don't talk about those things, a lot of things can go wrong with the wedding dresses. All right. So after we are done talking about that, I'll walk you through the different things we'll be learning in the paid class and also give you all the details necessary for you to know about the paid class, which includes the price, the registration date, when the registration will end, when you have access to the videos. I'm going to give you all of that details. Okay, so let's dive right into the class so we get enough information. All right, so welcome again to class. My name is Omolola, the creative director of Losodium and lead instructor at Losodium Design School, and I would be your trainer for the rest of this course. Okay, so want to start with introduction to wedding dresses. When you hear the word wedding dress, what comes to mind? So wedding dress is a dress or a gown worn by a bride during the wedding ceremony. So that's just a simple definition. It's a dress or a gown, whichever word you choose to use, worn by a bride, not groom. Not groom, worn by a bride during the wedding ceremony. Now you need to understand that a lot of things are important or attached to the wedding dress. So the wedding dress, like we see in pictures, is not just about, oh, she's wearing a white dress and then she's snapping pictures, she's happy. There are so many things attached to the wedding dress. The wedding dress is one of the few dresses that comes with a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings attached to it. And most importantly, these days you see that they also come attached with them is the kind of religion the bride or the groom is, the kind of tradition the bride or the groom has. Okay, so it's very important for you to understand these things, and there are so many things you need to consider. But before we dive into the things you need to consider, we also want to talk about the colors of the wedding dress. Now I know a lot of people know that, oh, the wedding dress is white, obviously. But the truth is, there is truly no rule that says that your wedding dress has to be white. But because we have imbibed a lot of the Western culture, and in the Western culture, most of their dresses are white. Most of their wedding dresses are white. Only if you want to go out of the norm will say, okay, I want to do a different color. But there's really nothing wrong if you decide on your wedding day you want to do a blush pink kind of wedding dress, or you want to do purple, or you want to do any. In fact, some people do black. It's in Nigeria that you think, oh, black is significant to something bad. But some people even go ahead to do black. But of course, you have to be bold if you want to do that in Nigeria. But this is something that you should understand, that of course you can decide not to do white on your wedding day. But if you choose, if you still feel, oh please, what will people say? Now, one thing I need you to understand that is that as wedding dress makers, it is important for you to know that there are absolutely 3 colors that are common that brides use in making their wedding dresses. In the pictures, you don't get to see the difference. This is a secret that only wedding wedding dress makers know. Now I'm going to tell you in this class, there are 3 colors, which is first ivory, IVORY, and then there is the pure white, and then there is the off-white. So I'll come again: ivory, pure white, and then there is off-white. Now when you look at the pictures, the truth is you cannot tell that, oh, this is off-white, or this is ivory, or this is, you can't really tell, except when they put all the 3 colors together. Then you see, oh, okay, so this is actually very different. They are not all white, but from pictures you don't get to see. However, these days I will say that people don't even use the pure white as we think they do. I make wedding dresses, and I think, I don't know, but I can't remember the last time I used pure white for a bride. Most times they use off-white or ivory. They really have a very nice way of making the designs look so cute. All right, so let's just, so that I won't spend so much time on that. Wedding dresses are so delicious to make, trust me. So now after talking about the colors, we talk about some of the things that affect choosing of the kind of wedding dresses. So these things are the things you consider when having your consultation with your bride. it is important to have a bridal consultation. So it doesn't have to be that, oh, the bride is with you. You can have it over the phone, you can do a video call, or if the bride can come to meet you, it's absolutely fine, even the best. But it's important for you to know the mind of your bride. So you don't do things, you are not the bride, you're not the one who wants to feel in a particular way on the day. You are just the dressmaker who is involved in the process of making the wedding dress. So there are so many factors you need to consider, and I'll walk you through some of them, which is these are some of the questions you ask during the consultation. Okay, so the first thing you want to talk about is the religion of the bride. Now, is your bride a Christian, is she a Muslim, or is she a traditionalist? Whichever one, it will help you to know there are some styles you pick for some people. For example, if your bride is a Muslim, some Muslims don't open any part of their body. They want everywhere covered. When I mean covered, they don't even want two nets. They want every part covered. So you don't want to, because you would see brides who will come to you and say, well, I want to make a wedding dress. Trust me, don't let them yell. But most brides are always very, very confused as to the kind of style to choose. So that is why bridal consultation is important. When they come to you, what they tell you is, I don't really know which style I want. I know I just want something nice. That's what majority of them would always say. That's also, they leave the job to you. But the truth is, at the end of the day, they know what they want to, because when you now send them loads of pictures, now this is another thing you should consider. You send them loads of pictures, they'll tell you, I don't want this one, I don't want that one, I don't want this one. You send them like 50 pictures. Oh, they now say, okay, let me send you one that I have. Let me send you one that I have. So you see, I want something like this. Now, these are the people that told you at first that they don't know what they want, but they actually have a picture. They have something in mind. They might not be able to tell you exactly how it is, but they have something in mind that they really want to wear. Okay, so that's why it's important that instead of you wasting your time to go and search online, Pinterest, Instagram, for all the 50 pictures you're going to gather, you're going to spend a lot of time looking for those pictures. All the 50 pictures sent to them, they look at it, they now tell you no. In fact, you will first feel like, oh my God, what just happened? You didn't see anyone you like. But instead, for you to avoid all of that time wasting, that's why it's important for you to say, okay, I understand, congratulate them. I'm so glad that you're having your wedding and I'm glad to be a part of your process. Now tell me what you want. Like, how do you want to feel on your wedding? Do you have a certain style in mind? If they tell you they don't have any style, go deeper. Tell them, okay, what are the kind of things you wear? So it's important for you to know there are some people who their person also affects their wedding dress. Yes, because some people are just reserved. They don't want too much shouting. They don't want things that are so flashy, that would give them so much attention, even though they are going to be the bride on the day. But some people still feel, okay, even though I'm the bride, I'm already the center of attraction, but please don't give me blinks. And there are some people that I want everybody to know that I waited for years before I got my husband. So everything must bubble. Okay, so you need to first understand, and you can only understand that from when you are talking to them, the process of the conversation, you get to know who a person is. Maybe not all about them, but you get to know a bit about who that person is, what they like or what they do not like. Okay, so their person also have a way of affecting the wedding dress. We also talked about religion. For Muslims, some of them don't want to open. However, there are some Muslims who don't mind opening their body. Okay, and then for Christians especially, I've had most of my brides that I've made wedding dresses for, most of them are Christians. And now it's one thing for them to be a Christian. It's one thing for you to know the church they want to get married, or they want to have their wedding ceremony. This is highly important. You need to know the church they are going to get married at, because each church have their rules and regulations, especially for the kind of wedding dresses they allow the brides to wear. Yes, you need to ask. So when your bride tells you I'm a Christian, ask further, which church do you want to get married? Or if you don't want to ask that, so they won't feel somehow, ask them, can you please go ahead and ask for the regulations in your church? So their church, for example, I know of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Nigeria. They have rules and regulations, like you can't open your body. They don't want cleavage opening. So imagine when you're like, oh, I want to go all creative with you, make your wedding dress, put a little bit of cleavage, put a little bit of opening, use some skin tone net. I don't even think Redeem allows skin tone net. Use a little bit of skin tone. I want you to really pop, and then the bride is happy, like, oh, my designer is creative. She wears the gown, and then on the wedding day, she gets to the entrance of the church, and they're like, we can't allow you in. This is against our rule. I think some redeemed churches don't even allow long train at the back for brides. So it's important that, see, the goal of the wedding dress is to make the bride happy. See, go and note that down. The goal of the wedding dress is to make the bride, she wants to be in it. It's a feeling that she's buying. It's not exactly the fact that the cloth is white and it has a touch of lace. That's not it. The moment she understands that the wedding dress is attached to an emotion. So the moment the dress is fine, but then she gets to the entrance of the church and they're like, you can't go in, the wedding dress begins to no longer look fine to her again, because it's like, it's hindering my wedding day, it's disturbing, is this my village people, is this, and they are calling you. At that moment, they're going to call you and tell you, please, what can you do to this wedding dress so I can just go in? At that moment, she has lost that a little bit of the happiness she's supposed to feel. So you want to walk through that process with her, understand that even though you can be covered and modest, we're still going to give you something that is going to look so nice and going to fit the occasion. So it's very, very, these are some things that some people don't know, but I'm glad that you are in this class and you're getting to know all about this. So please walk your bride through all of that. Another factor for you to consider when choosing the wedding dress is the budget. Now, don't also make a mistake of sending all the pictures like I said before. You're like, oh, let's do this one with blinks, with crystals, with rhinestones that cost about 40,000 naira per pack. And then your bride says, my budget is just 50,000 naira. It happens like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own budget. So you have to ask. So many questions you need to ask before you start saying, oh, let's choose this style, let's choose that style. You need to ask, what is your budget? So there are some wedding dresses that are below 100,000 naira. There are some wedding dresses that are above 100,000 naira. There are some wedding dresses that are below 500,000. Some above, some they cost 1 million and above. And then because good things look attractive, anybody can pick and send to you. So they can send you the style and say, oh, my budget is this, can you do something? And you're seeing embellishments, you're seeing lace that is even about 100,000 naira per yard. So you need to first talk about the budget. So when they tell you, oh, my budget is just within 100,000 naira, then you can send pictures of wedding dresses within that budget. It saves you time. Okay, let's rush through the rest. I've talked about considering your style. Another thing is to think about the venue the bride is going to use. So the weddings we have these days, some people have their weddings in the garden, some have it just in church, some have it at a reception. You want to consider that where they are going. So someone can tell you they want a train that fills the whole garage, and the venue of the wedding is just somewhere very narrow, maybe it's just a small wedding. It's going to affect, because first, it's unnecessary that you have that big train when where you are going to use. It's not going to allow you spread the train so well. So you need to consider the venue. Most importantly, consider if they are using a garden, perhaps they could use the train because everywhere is big, there's enough space, they can spread out. Okay, so another thing to also consider is the type of fabric. Now you need to understand that there are some people who sweat so much, so you don't want to use some fabrics that are too thick. And then because it's the bride though, if every other person decides that, oh, they're taking so much time with you, oh, location, I want to start going home, the bride cannot go home. They have to be there for the rest of the day. So you need to look for something that's going to make them comfortable, okay? And understand, you can ask, do you sweat easily, very fast, or when you're under pressure, how do you feel? When you're wearing something tight, when you're under a lot of stress, do you feel like just pulling it off? You know, so but if they feel like, oh yeah, I feel like that, but don't worry, it's my wedding, I'm still going to try to make sure I wear the dress. So probably you're making something like a corset, I'm still going to try and manage, then it's fine. So they are willing to go through all of that pressure. Okay, and the last one, which we'll dive into to get the silhouette, is to consider the body type. So this is very important. Even though these days making wedding dresses for a couple of people, I realize that sometimes they don't even want to care about their body size. What I want is what I want, so just make my wedding dress for me. So there are clients like that. You don't want to over pressure them and say, no, you have to do this. No, it's their wedding, so whatever they want to wear at the end of the day, they are accountable for the choices that they make, but you can give them advice. So there are different body shapes. We have people with different body shapes. So the body shapes comes with, or maybe some people have big bust and small hips, small waist, or some have small bust, big waist, big hips, or you know, different variations like that. Maybe small waist, big hips, big bust. So there are different people like that, and different things work for them. So now you still have to talk about them, because there are some people who like to flaunt their hip. Whether they have a very big hip, they want to flaunt the hip, like, no, let them see that my husband paid well. Let them see that my husband paid well. Let them see the hip. Some people is their boss. They're like, no, let them see that I'm so bossy, my husband's going to enjoy. So let them see that. So for people like that who probably have big hips, big bust, you want to go for something more like a man-made wedding dress. Okay, something like a man-made wedding dress is majorly for people that have figure 8. So it shows so much of the bust. It accentuates the bust and also shows the hip. It also shows the tiny waist. Okay, for people who have not so big hip, maybe just an average or small hip, you can do something like a ball dress for them. So the ball dress actually covers up the fact that they don't have so much hip. And some of them will feel like, oh, I don't have hip. What can you do for me to just hide, so that they will not be saying, I see the bride, she does not have hip. So for people like that, you can do ball dresses for them. People who are just straight, who small bust, small waist, small hip, you can also do a wedding dress for them, a ball dress for them, and probably do some designs on the upper part that doesn't show so much on the show so much that the bust is not so big. Okay, and there are also different shapes of wedding dresses, so I'm going to run through them. And then in the paid class, we are going to dive into them deeply, so you get to know how they look like. You get to know the different ones that can work for the different body sizes. Okay, so we have the A-line wedding dress. So the A-line wedding dress is just like, it's fitted on the bust and then it runs down. Okay, we also have the man-made, which I explained earlier. We have the trumpet. That one starts from a little bit above. It's fitted from bust, waist, hip, and just immediately after the hip it flares out. Okay, then we get to see pictures of them in the paid class. The ball gown, which is what we'll be doing majorly in the paid class, it's so interesting as well. So we also have the slip dress. Okay, so this slip dress is just straight. It's a simple dress for people who are just want to, you know, maybe they have a flight to catch and they're like, let me just get married and go. Those slip dresses, they are just very simple, just something straight, you know. And then you also have the sheet dress. It's similar to the slip dress as well. You have the colon dress, which is also similar. You also have the T-length dress. So the T-length dress are the ones who are not so long. They're the ones that are not so long. They are just a bit above the ankle. So you see that majorly for those who do cut weddings, who just have reception. They don't want to do a lot of, not everybody is interested in doing ball gown. So you need to understand these things. So you also have that. Okay, so those are the different ones we have that we'll talk about deeply in class. Okay, so I hope that you actually gained something from this short class. I hope you gained something from it. So I'm just going to also tell you about the different things we also learn. So there's the flyer that shows the different things we learn in the paid class, but I'll run you through them. And there are some things that are not in the flyer that we'll also learn in the paid class. So things like the 3D applique. These days you see that a lot of people are doing 3D design. So come on, let's learn and let's see how we can imbibe that in our wedding dress. We also learn the couture lace revamp. So this is how to reconstruct and redesign your lace. Trust me, wedding dressmakers don't use the lace the way they buy them from the market. That's why you see some people, you see a design someone sent to you and you're like, please, where can I get this lace? Where can I? You can't get it anywhere, my sister, because it was redesigned. Okay, it was redesigned. So we are going to get to learn how to redesign our lace in class, you know, walk you through all of that. We'll also talk about the ball dress foundations. There are different foundations that can give you that fullness that you want. We'll talk about them. We'll also talk about the seamless illusion draping. I love this one so much. So we'll get to know about it. There are some things that you see online and you're like, how did they achieve this thing? Come to paid class. You're going to learn all about that. Then we talk about the bridal pattern construction. Bridal pattern construction. So that's how to construct it from the scratch. From the scratch, you get to see everything from the scratch. And then the different back closures. So it's not only zipper you use for your wedding dresses. You know, want to give that luxury look. So we get to use different things. Show you how to use the different options we have for closures. Okay, we also talk about the wedding dress with train, so the wedding dress with train that has no joining. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, the length of the fabric is just 60 yards, so how do I achieve a train that is longer than 60? I mean, the length of the fabric is just 60 inches, so how do I achieve a train that is more than 60 inches? I mean, even if it's 60 inches, you are still cutting the upper bodies from it. How do I achieve that? Trust me, without joining. I'm going to show you in this class. I mean, even if you don't have 120 inches, I know there are 120 inches fabric, but I'm going to, it's not so easy to get the 120 inches fabric. So I'm going to show you with majority of the things we are going to use in class are things that you can see around you. So not things that, oh, it's so difficult to get. There are things, so we'll be using 60 inches length of fabric to achieve a very long train that will fool everywhere. Okay, so we'll also talk about the different bridal fabrics, so you get to see all the different layers that you can use, the different satins that you can use. Okay, we also walk through the sewing process of the gown, so you are really learning different things. You are learning, we're walking you through how to sew the gown from start to finish. I mean, from idea creation. So when you're saying, oh, this is, we are creating a design on the wedding dress we're going to make, you see how the design creation process goes, how the sketching goes. You also see how the fabrics, why we choose the fabrics we choose, the foundation. You see every process. So at the end of this class, you would be able to make a wedding dress. Okay, from start to finish, no hiding of one thing or another thing. From drafting, cutting, design creation, sewing, pressing. In fact, I'm going to show you the packaging, how you package the wedding dress. So probably you are registering because you want to get married. I mean, just the package, even though you are the one that made it, package it. Or if you are registering because you want to start making wedding dresses. So there's a process of making the wedding dress. You just don't make wedding dress and pack inside nylon. No. So you're also going to learn how to do the packaging of the wedding dress, you don't fold wedding. Anyway, when you come to class, you get to learn all of that. You also walk you through how to embellish the wedding dress. Okay, so see, embellishment takes your wedding dress from regular to luxury, and you're going to see that transformation in class. You're going to see the transformation of it in class. We'll also talk about the bridal fabrications and the techniques. Okay, so some of the things that are not also on the flyer that we'll also be talking about is the different train types. So we'll just do a brief conversation about the different trains. So we know that, oh, there's a train that extends down, but we'll also get to talk about there are 3 different train types actually. So we get to talk about the different train types in class. We'll also talk about the different lining for wedding dresses. It's for you to know that wedding dresses are not just the cheap dresses. They are not cheap dresses as they are. Wedding dresses are significant and they are always expensive. So expensive can now be relative, like, oh, low expensive, medium expensive, high expensive. But regardless, the inside of a wedding dress should be as neat as the outside. So you get to see how to even work on the inside of the wedding dress. You get to see the different lining. We don't use ABBA lining for wedding dresses. No, you get to see the different linings you can use for wedding dresses. You get to see, so there's a bonus topic, which is how to make a veil. Because I know that when you make wedding dresses, there are so many brides who also want to have a veil. So we'll learn how to make one veil. However, we'll also talk about the different veils that are available for you to work with. Okay, we'll also talk about the different necklines for any kind of wedding dress you choose to make. So it's not just one neckline that is applicable to all wedding dresses. We talk about the different necklines, we talk about the different sleeves. So there's so many things we'll talk about that are not written on the flyer. So please, I don't want you to miss this. That's why I'm doing a video to explain. Don't miss it and say, oh, some things are not explained there. I know that I also, during a lot of people still sent a message to me that, would the 2-net ball dress be explained in class? No. The will it be shown rather? And I said no, we are only sewing the satin ball dress. But because I saw that there was a high demand for the 2 ball dress, we will still not be sewing it. But there are some techniques in the satin ball dress that is applicable to the 2 ball dress. So, but another thing I'll do is there are little differences between the satin ball dress and the 2 ball dress. In terms of sewing. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to do a video to explain how to sew the satin ball dress, the 2 ball dress, and then the application of some techniques in the satin ball dress to how you can apply it to the two-ball dress, so that at least it's still a win-win for you. All right, and then maybe eventually if you choose to do a class on the two-ball dress, but then you have an idea and you would even be able to make a two-ball dress. Okay, so the basic thing is that at the end of this course we'll be making a couture piece, a couture wedding dress. So couture means high-end, a wedding dress that we can sell for more than 200,000 naira. So that means if you register for this course, you go through the process, you also make your own. Even if you don't have a bride that you at the moment, you can make the wedding dress, take a picture of it and sell it off, maybe for 250, 300. And I mean, you're not paying that much for the class. But it's a good deal. It's a good deal. You can make the dress and you're not even going to spend up to that for buying fabrics. We are going to also walk through how to buy fabrics. I'm going to give you a number of suppliers that you can get. So it's not like I'm leaving you stranded. I'm basically putting you through the process of how to start and how to finish, so you're not stranded that, oh, I'll have done it all, but I don't know the supplier, I don't know where to go. You're going to get a number of suppliers, where I source for it, how you're going to buy it. I'm going to tell you the number of yards I use, how I even calculated the number of yards, how I knew the number of yards to use. Let me not make this video long, but there's a lot to learn in this class. Okay, so you also be seeing, yeah, so I also wrote here that you'll be seeing how to make like 3 wedding dresses, even though we'll be making just one. But then we are going to start from the foundation and then move into application of the lace and then move into application of the embellishment. So you can choose, you get to see how you can make 3 different wedding dresses from these 3 different processes. So there are some people who don't want lace at all, they just want a plain wedding dress. You learn how to make that and then you're good to go, you're selling it off. Then if you have a client who says, no, I want lace and everything, but I don't want embellishments, you get to see that. And if you want a client who says, oh, I want all the embellishments, so we are walking you through all the 3 processes and you get to see how to make all the 3 wedding dresses. So it's like 3 in 1. All right, so in fact 4 in 1 now, because I'll still be explaining how to make the 2 wedding dresses. Yes, so that is it about the wedding dress. If you have any question, you can just send a DM to me or write it on the group. Okay, so the course fee, I know that's what everybody has been waiting for, like, okay, oh yeah, tell us how much is the registration fee. All right, so the registration fee is not even up to how much you buy a wedding dress, so this is a good deal. The registration fee is 50,000 naira. For the course, you're going to get access to everything that I've talked about, 50,000 naira. But now, because I know that this is Buhari era, so before you say, hey, 50,000 naira, let me just cut, I cannot afford it, don't always say you cannot afford it. First think of this, it's an investment. So is this investment worth it or not? If I make the wedding dress, how much can I sell it? See, wedding dresses can make you rich. If you can just even make and sell, even though you don't have a bride, make and sell, give it to people who sell wedding dresses. You sell to them and then they resell. Okay, and then if you have brides, good for you, you can make it. So before I started making wedding, sorry that I'm branching, but I just needed to tell you this. Before I ventured into making wedding dresses, all I needed to do was just to do one wedding dress, do a photo shoot of it, post it everywhere, do videos of it, post it everywhere, and then people realize that, oh, she can make wedding dresses. Because if you keep telling me you can make wedding dress and you've never made a wedding dress before, there's no I'm going to believe or be confident enough to give you my wedding dress to make. So you have to give me a proof. So see it as an investment that, oh, I'm doing a good investment to have this wedding dress. Post it, snap good pictures, let my customers know, and with that you get to say, oh, you make wedding dresses, can you make this, can you make, you'll be surprised at the people who are getting married that they didn't even tell you. Okay, so I promised there was going to be a discount, yes. However, the discount is time bound and it's just limited for 5 people. So the first 5 people to take a decision to take this course immediately after watching this video gets to would have the discount. So we are giving a huge discount of 20%. We are giving a 20% discount over the 50,000 naira. That means you get to pay 40,000 naira instead of 50,000 naira. Now this discount is only running from now when you're watching the video to the 15th of November, which is my birthday. That's why I'm giving a 20% discount. 5 people who would make a decision between now to 15th of November would take up the discount. So once we have 5 people who have paid 40,000 naira, we close off the discounts and the price returns back to 50,000 naira. Get this course immediately now. Don't wait until you hear, oh, let me wait until the 14th of November, and then you say, we're sorry, but we have 5 people complete. So be the first to click on the link right now to order the course. I'm so excited and I can't wait to see you in the paid class.